welcome back once again to the Imaginary Gallery. Tonight's topic comes from a viewer's question. This comment comes from a C. Fern. Comment is, I've been watching and reading everything on psychopaths et al. For months. Since I pinpointed what was wrong with my ex-boyfriend, I am now at the stage of trying to understand how and why they all use the same techniques. And this happens worldwide. There are jokes that they all go to Narc school. Do they learn, or does it come naturally? And why? Nothing veers from the script. It's not like they include malicious baking or tennis in the mix. So weird. Well, I'm not professing to have the answer to the question, but I think it presents a very good topic for discussion and for other people out there to reflect upon. Because actually up to this point, I never really even thought about why they do what they do. I just noticed that they do what they do, and the things they do are very strangely similar. I've got a few ideas, though. First off, we notice that these creatures seem to pull the same tactics, and in my experience, sometimes even use the exact same dialogue the other one did. It's sickening at times, but I think one of the reasons possibly may be, first of all, you have to understand what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a person who may be an adult in years. Emotionally and mentally, they are still trapped back in 7, 8-year-old childhood, which never had a chance to develop into a fully formed adult. If you start there, you realize, okay, they're children. And the second part is they learn about basic human needs. Humans have specific needs, and there are certain parts of our existence that include things like insecurities we may have. Let's say we don't think that we're the smartest or the most attractive or the most whatever. Well, these creatures know people have such insecurities, so they'll be quick to rush in and say, oh, you're the most attractive and intelligent person I've ever met, and things like that. Because they are a predator, they can clue in on if you state something that indicates you might be insecure about this or that, and they quickly rush in. So that's something they all seem to do, which is part of their love bombing. They basically just tune in, and if they hear what looks like a weakness, they immediately jump in on it, no matter what it is. As far as knowing why they do what they do, I kind of look at this as the same thing as, let's say you're in a jungle growing up with a tribe, and you witness a particular orange bird that comes in your campsite area and does certain things. Well, you observe it, and you may notice it does this particular ritual or that particular ritual, and it makes a certain chirping sound, and you watch it. You may talk to others about, hey, have you seen that orange bird? And they may give you another piece of information, like, oh yes, they also seem to lay their eggs in a certain type of spot, and so on and whatever. Well, the point is you're observing, and collectively you're assessing this orange bird and what it does. You don't really know why. You know it does these certain things. Well, that's kind of how this discussion will go and what it's based on. Another reason I think that they all tend to play the same types of games is kind of the same concept as a TV game show. No names will be mentioned. The type of TV game show where the announcer says, survey said, whatever, and they ask a question like, name something that is white. And then, of course, the people answer. The goal behind all this is that if they interviewed or surveyed 1,000 people and they asked that question, chances are there will be certain common answers, which is the whole show is based on. But when you're dealing with these cluster B creature monsters, it's a similar principle as far as they know the good answers. They know the common situations to use in their games. When they meet you, and they notice a certain thing like we mentioned before. They've got like the survey said answers in their head, and they're like operating from that, thinking, oh yes, this person must be insecure about her weight or about her figure or whatever it could be, and they'll zero in on that. I think a lot of this comes down to the basic human needs. Human beings like flattery. They like to be recognized for what they are. They like to be acknowledged for good ideas, intelligence. These types of creatures are on a common ground as far as making a big deal of flattering such traits that we all seem to have. That way, it's the universal. Somebody fixes their hair and their clothes and they're about to go out, the narcissist monster would be good to say,
"Oh, you look so good."
Well, that's an easy in to exploitation, because the target will be like, really? I thought I looked okay, but you think I look really good?
Oh, yes.
And fake. So we come back to the viewer's question as far as there's no veering from the script. Why? You have to think of it, I think. What are you dealing with? You're dealing with, as we said, a child who has not developed adult-like mechanisms for dealing with problems, but they get by because they look like an adult, even though their tactics may be based in childhood and will be kept covert on most occasions. So they're maintaining this game they play towards whichever target's in the room, and you have to realize they have a basic set of rules. One of them is they want what they want, and they feel entitled to get what they want at any cost. They're not bothered by things such as consciences or guilt or things like that. If they see something they want, they will go after it with whatever means is necessary. If it's betraying another human being, so be it. They simply want it, and they feel they're entitled to have it. So I think with this type of framework, that sets the stage for the way these creatures operate, where as far as you compare one to the other, and they all seem to do the same things, because they're all scared little children with very limited skills, very good skills at covering up the fact that they have no skills and that they're a creature. So we, the targets, end up falling for their games because they know what to do in certain places, so we feel really comfortable. But then at the same time, when you examine further, you notice other things that seem like they have no clue, and you don't want to just throw away all the great stuff and think, oh, this person's pointless. No, you think, this part's great, but that part isn't, and you try to work on that part, and good luck. But when you realize they are agenda-driven, they want a specific thing, and you, of course, are the poor fool who's being dragged along thinking that this is like a normal, legitimate relationship where you've met a person, you're interested in somewhat, and things progress. That's not how it is with these people. And when you keep in mind their goals to get whatever they want, knowing they have no remorse, no guilt, no empathy, they're free to do anything, which means they can tell you,
"How dare you think I was even looking at someone else? I have only thought of you from the day we met."
Even though he's got 3 or 4 other wives on the side. They don't know what that feels like or what that means, and they don't care. It's,
"Oh dear, I've got to say the right thing to get out of this, so I can maintain this source of supply." And
it's tragic and sickening.
I am the narcopath and you're not.
Do you want to have sex? Since I'm giving confessions, I might as well give my own opinion. Sometimes I think you were such a baby. Oh my God. When I finally discarded you and told you it was over, like that, you were so heartbroken. I thought, why? Plus, you always used to corner me with your little arguments about how I swore I would never lie or cheat, and then you would point out like 7 or 8 instances of me lying and cheating. Notice how I didn't like that. Notice how I quickly changed the subject. Notice how I turned the conversation around to you. Well, honey, your logic was right. The fun for me was doing it having you assess it, and because I'm such a great actress, when you would point out the obvious contradictions between my words and my actions, I would just sit there and give you a blank stare like, huh? Because I know that you thought you were making some kind of point, which of course you were, but I didn't have any kind of valid response for it, so I just acted like you were mistaken and that you were imagining things. It works every time. And I know it left an impression on you because you knew that the points you were making were completely accurate, but I was behaving as if they weren't.
And you questioned yourself, didn't you? That's my way.
Look, I know I ain't got no emotions. I know I mirrored yours. And you figured me out a few times, and of course, when you tried to point out that you figured me out, I just gave you a blank stare like you're wrong, and that got you. Certainly, if I really was faking, and you caught it, I'd be embarrassed and turn red like my hair, but didn't happen. Fact is, I was acting the whole time with you. I wasn't a real person. I never have been with you. If you knew the real person, you never would have given me a second date. So, honey, get over it. You think you're so smart, but anybody can figure it out.